So what if the very act of trying to build a happy, secure life is mathematically guaranteed to bankrupt you, both spiritually and physically?
Right. Like, think about the listener right now, driving to a job they maybe just barely tolerate.
Exactly. Just to pay off a mortgage on a house they barely have time to enjoy. We're told this is the standard formula for success, but what if the formula itself is just a trap?
It's a grim thought.
It is. Today we're examining a really fascinating philosophical framework derived from a profound dream analysis in our source material. In this narrative, it essentially forces us to look at the true survival cost of human existence.
Yeah, the actual toll it takes on us.
Right. And it centers on two distinct individuals. First, you have this winner who relentlessly expands his physical assets. In this case, it's an ever-growing apartment complex. And second, you have a loser who gets defeated early on and just settles for an ordinary family life.
But the real catalyst in this narrative is this mysterious object called the magic light, right? Along with a girl. So initially, the winner actually seizes the girl, leaving the loser with this magic light.
Which does what exactly?
Well, that's the thing. It's a device that does literally nothing but blink and project images. But through this whole tangled mess of, human emotion and societal pressure, they end up trading.
Oh, okay. So the winner takes the light?
Exactly. The winner takes the magic light and tries to use it to build a massive physical empire. Meanwhile, the loser takes the girl and builds your standard, quiet family. But decades later, they look at each other's lives and realize this terrifying truth. Neither of them is actually happy.
Which brings us to the core tension we're debating today. Is human existence fundamentally an inescapable, defective physical system? One where the costs of living just, always outweigh the gains?
Or can we transcend that immense physical friction through what the text calls circular capitalism? Basically shifting our focus away from heavy material ownership and toward lightweight information and, honestly, humor.
Right. So I'll be arguing that existence under our current societal system is just an unpayable physical and mental debt. Win or lose the societal game, the pursuit of ownership mathematically guarantees our ruin.
And I take the opposing view. Obviously, physical existence carries inherent constraints, but we possess the tools to debug this reality. By abandoning our obsession with heavy physical burdens in favor of information circulation, we can completely reevaluate our survival costs and ultimately, laugh at the absurdity of the whole situation.
Okay, let's ground this in the mechanics of the source material, because from my perspective, this dream framework just perfectly traces the fatal flaw of, what we can call linear capitalism.
Okay, linear capitalism. Break that down.
So we see two distinct bugs operating here. The winner suffers from the expansion bug. He basically becomes a management slave to his own apartment building.
Because the baseline shifts.
Exactly. The brain adapts to a new baseline so rapidly. Managing 10 apartments feels identical to managing 100 once you habituate. But the physical entropy, the taxes, the broken pipes, the security, the constant maintenance, that multiplies exponentially.
Right, yeah.
He thinks he's a master of the universe, but he's actually just building a monument of ego out of the Earth's finite resources.
Sure, but the loser isn't exactly free from the system either, is he? He just runs an entirely different faulty script.
Precisely. The loser suffers from the stagnation bug. By maintaining this ordinary family life and aiming for the middle class, he's paying a heavy, continuous subscription fee of societal norms.
The friction of normal life.
Right. He's constantly navigating the friction of interpersonal relationships, the fear of loss, the pressure to conform. So my core thesis is this. Win or lose, the cost paid in mental wear and tear and physical resource consumption mathematically exceeds any resource recovery. The system is just biologically and physically defective from the moment you boot it up.
I hear ya. But that assumes the only way to interact with the system is through physical accumulation or physical conformity. I'd argue that your perspective misses the profound mechanism explicitly offered within the material.
You mean the magic light?
Exactly. Think about how we traditionally measure wealth, right? If I have a physical tomato and I give it to you, I lose the tomato. That is a zero-sum linear physical exchange. That's the trap both the winner and loser are stuck in.
A physical trap, yeah.
But this magic light, a device that simply blinks and projects images, that represents circular capitalism, or essentially information circulation. If I give you a mathematical proof or digital artwork, or even just a profound joke, I still possess it.
The value doubles.
Right. The total value of the system just doubled, and we didn't extract another ounce of soil from the earth to do it.
So you're viewing the magic light as an alternative economic model entirely.
I view it as a fundamental debugging tool for human reality. The real tragedy of this narrative isn't existence itself. It's humanity's clumsy refusal to utilize the light properly.
We refuse to let go of the physical stuff.
Yes. We refuse to abandon heavy material ownership. We're dragging around physical real estate and agonizing over societal status, instead of choosing lightweight informational fulfillment. We have the tool to bypass the physical friction, but we keep trying to use it as a hammer to build more concrete walls, you know?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Information circulation is like planting a digital garden. It scales without depleting the earth.
Exactly, a digital garden.
It sounds appealing, it really does. But I have to push back on this idea that information somehow frees us from the physical deficit, because it completely ignores the actual environment we're operating in.
How so?
Let me introduce a pretty devastating analogy from the text to illustrate the futility of this winner-loser dichotomy. Under the current paradigm, we are all basically fighting tooth and nail over the suite room on a luxury liner.
Okay, the luxury liner.
Yeah. The winner gets the penthouse deck. The loser gets a cabin on a lower floor. But the objective truth of the situation is that the ship is destined to sink before it even leaves the port.
Right, you're referring to the thermodynamic reality there. The fact that the physical universe and, our biological bodies are moving toward entropy.
Exactly. The physical reality of existence requires constant energy extraction from a closed system. The winner's apartment building, it'll eventually crumble into sand. It requires endless energy just to delay that decay.
And the loser's family just produces the next generation of cost payers.
Exactly. Arguing about who is happier, the apartment mogul or the family man, is exactly like sitting in a sinking mud boat and arguing over which seat has the best view. Winning or losing, the outcome is totally identical.
It's a dark image.
It is. So, if the physical reality is a sinking mud boat, how does your magic light or this circular capitalism do anything but distract us from the water rising? Aren't you just handing passengers on the Titanic a blinking light and telling them to ignore the ice?
Well, no. I understand the temptation to look at the macro-level physics and just declare the whole enterprise a failure. But you're conflating physical thermodynamic death with the actual day-to-day experience suffering of a human being.
They seem pretty linked to me.
They are linked, but they aren't the same. Yes, the mud boat is sinking. The closed system of the Earth will eventually run out of usable energy. But the agonizing daily friction we experience, the anxiety, the burnout, the despair, that doesn't come from the abstract concept of entropy.
Where does it come from then?
It comes from the ownership mindset.
But the ownership mindset is hardwired into survival. You can't just separate the psychological experience from the physical reality of needing resources to live.
You can absolutely separate the psychological burden of hoarding from baseline survival. Think about the passengers on your sinking luxury liner. Why are they suffering right now, before the water has even reached their ankles?
Because they know it's sinking?
No, because they're obsessed with dragging heavy gold bars around the deck. The winner is exhausted because he's hoarding the gold. The loser is exhausted because he's fiercely guarding his tiny pouch of coins, terrified someone will take it.
Okay, the self-imposed physical labor of ownership.
Exactly. The magic light, this concept of shared, lightweight information, it allows you to just drop the gold. Circular capitalism doesn't stop the ship from sinking. I can see that entirely. But it removes the agonizing, pointless labor of trying to bail out the ocean with a bucket.
It shifts the focus.
Yes, it shifts our valuation from what can I physically hoard to prove my worth to what can I mentally experience and share.
Okay, dancing hands-free on a sinking mud boat might feel better in the moment. But dropping the gold bars doesn't stop your stomach from growling.
Well, true.
You still have a baseline metabolism, which brings me to the fundamental physical debt that completely undercuts this whole idea of a lightweight informational escape.
Okay, let's hear it.
To truly understand this deficit, we have to look at the source material's brilliant conceptualization of human existence as an unordered, full-course meal.
Ah, the restaurant analogy? Yeah, this is where the material gets incredibly stark.
Stark, but mathematically precise. We're all guests who were served a super luxury, full-course meal we never actually ordered. We didn't ask to be born. We didn't ask for this complex consciousness that demands constant biological and emotional fulfillment. Yet, the meal is laid out in front of us.
And we have to eat it?
We're forced to consume it just to survive. And the ultimate insult? We are forced to wash the dishes after eating.
Meaning the relentless biological and societal maintenance, sleeping, healing, working to afford shelter, navigating bureaucracy.
Yes. The sheer physical exhaustion of just keeping yourself alive and relevant. And then at the end of it all, we're handed a massive bill.
Right.
And the text of that bill reads, "Payment is the lifespan of the Earth. We are carving out the planet's resources just to maintain our baseline operations."
It's an astronomical cost.
Exactly. At the restaurant's exit, the winner brags about the high face value of his receipt, his massive apartment complex, his stock portfolio, just to prove he's a big shot. The loser stands there holding his head in despair, trying to calculate how to split the bill to protect his family.
Trying to make the math work.
But from the perspective of the physical laws cleaning up the tables, both of them are exactly the same. They're just dine-and-dashers. Neither has the capacity to actually pay back the cosmic resources they consumed.
It really forces a total reevaluation of human ambition, doesn't it? The audacity to brag about the size of a debt we can literally never repay.
So here is the fatal flaw in your circular capitalism argument. Isn't humanity's push toward digital and informational evolution just, informational heavy makeup hiding our physical wear?
Informational heavy makeup.
Yeah. Your digital garden still requires physical soil. The Earth's resources are still being carved out to power your magic light. We're talking about server farms, rare earth metals, the global energy grid. You say we're dropping the gold bars, but we're still in the restaurant, and we're still dine-and-dashers eating a meal we physically can't afford. The cost still exceeds the recovery.
Look, I will absolutely concede the earth dependency of my logic, because acknowledging that physical anchor is really the first step in genuinely debugging the system.
Okay.
If we weren't biological entity on this specific rock, this entire debate would be meaningless, right? A sterile asteroid doesn't worry about property taxes or existential dread. But treating existence as in an initial physical failure, a defective state from the moment we're served the unordered meal, is actually a very precise diagnostic tool.
But how does diagnosing yourself as a failure help you navigate the restaurant in Drebro?
Because once you realize you cannot escape the restaurant, and you acknowledge that you cannot possibly pay the bill, your only logical, pragmatic recourse is minimizing the physical footprint of your meal.
Minimizing the damage.
Yes. The problem with the winner building his apartment complex isn't just that he's a dine-and-dasher. It's that he's actively ordering 10 more courses he doesn't even want, just to prove to the rest of the dining room that he can.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He's intentionally maximizing physical friction because the societal template tells him that asset expansion equals value.
He's trying to validate his presence in the restaurant through consumption.
Exactly. The magic light represents a fundamental shift in the operating system. Yes, the light requires a battery. Yes, the server farm requires cooling. I'm not denying the laws of thermodynamics here.
Right.
But the physical footprint of sharing a profound idea, building a community of thought, or creating digital art is orders of magnitude lower than building a concrete skyscraper as a monument to one's ego. The transition to circular capitalism is about accepting our status as cosmic debtors and radically downsizing our operations from heavy physical accumulation to lightweight informational exchange. It's about limiting the collateral damage of our existence.
I see the mathematical logic in minimizing the footprint. Obviously, if the debt is inherently unpayable, the least you can do is stop ordering expensive wine.
Right.
But practically speaking, doesn't that just leave us in a state of profound nihilism? Think about the listener trying to apply this. If we're fundamentally just initial physical failures trying to minimize our footprint until the thermodynamic heat death of the universe, where is the motivation to do anything?
Well,
I mean, the loser in the dream tried to minimize his footprint. He abandoned the empire building, settled for a quiet, ordinary family, and he still found himself trapped in a cycle of profound mental wear and tear. Downsizing didn't save him.
That is a crucial distinction to make, actually, because the loser didn't abandon the ownership paradigm. He just scaled it down to a socially acceptable level.
Okay, explain that.
over the math.
Ah.
Downsizing physical assets isn't enough if your psychological operating system is still running on linear capitalism. To find actual fulfillment, we have to build on the restaurant analogy to its ultimate logical conclusion.
And what is the logical conclusion of being trapped in a restaurant with an unpayable bill?
The true sage in this scenario isn't the winner who tries to wash dishes faster to impress the waiter, and it isn't the loser who agonizes over the split bill. The true sage recognizes that they are nothing more than a reckless orderer without the ability to pay.
A reckless orderer.
A reckless orderer without the ability to pay. Once you deeply, truly internalize that identity, the illusion of the entire system shatters. The ultimate act of circular capitalism isn't despair. It is converting the friction of existence into humor.
Wait, really? You're suggesting humor as a mitigation strategy for an inescapable biological and thermodynamic debt.
I'm suggesting humor is the only rational response to a mathematically impossible situation.
That's quite a leap.
Think about it. The best response to being forced into this ultra-luxury restaurant, eating a meal you didn't ask for, and being handed a bill for the lifespan of the earth isn't to meticulously calculate the debt while weeping. The best response is to call the waiter over and complain that there is despair in my soup.
There is despair in my soup? Man, that is incredibly dark.
It's a dark joke, but you laugh it off. You take the magic light, which, remember, the winner and loser were treating as a serious physical asset to be traded, leveraged, and fought over, and you use it as a disco ball to dance toward the exit.
A disco ball.
Yes. By recognizing the total absurdity of our survival costs, we decouple our self-worth from the physical accumulation that drives both the winner and the loser mad. We stop fighting over the sweet room on the sinking mud boat, and we start enjoying the absurdity of the voyage itself. We share ideas, we share the joke, and we circulate that information. That is how the magic light actually functions.
Let me challenge the idea of enjoying the voyage, though. I don't know if joy is the natural byproduct here, given the genuine suffering baked into biological reality. A broken leg still hurts, regardless of whether you view the universe as a dark joke.
Of course it does.
But I do see the profound utility in your perspective. Recognizing our shared status as reckless orderers acts as a kind of universal solvent. It strips away the false prestige of the winner. The apartment mogul is no longer a titan of industry. He's just a guy frantically polishing brass on a sinking mud boat, thinking the shine will stop the water from rising.
Exactly. It entirely deflates the ego-driven expansion bug.
And simultaneously, it strips away the false comfort of the loser. The guy who thinks his quiet conformity and his modest home protect him from the cosmic bill is forced to realize he's just as much a dine-and-dasher as the mogul.
Right.
It leaves only the raw, undeniable truth of our shared predicament. We are all trapped in this defective biological hardware, running an operating system that demands endless energy. If dark humor and lightweight information exchange are the only ways to reduce the processing load on that hardware without destroying the environment, then perhaps your magic light is the most pragmatic workaround we have for an unfixable bug.
It's the ultimate software patch for a hardware failure. You can't fix the hardware, but you can choose to run a program that doesn't overheat the entire system.
It's a compelling synthesis of a very heavy concept. Let's pull these threads together and summarize where we've landed on this analysis of survival costs.
Sounds good.
From my perspective, this narrative forces us to confront that the pursuit of ownership under our current societal templates is a highly costly, ultimately destructive fiction. Whether you're battling the physical entropy of expanding an empire or paying the heavy emotional and financial subscription fee of a standard family life, the outcome is mathematically similar.
The friction is always there.
Right, we're trapped in a system where the maintenance costs inherently outpace the joy. We are all acting as dine-and-dashers on Earth's finite resources, stubbornly fighting over the best seats in a sinking mud boat, totally refusing to acknowledge the water.
And my perspective accepts that grim physical reality, but offers a pivot. I agree we can't escape the physical debt of existence. The biological and thermodynamic constraints are absolute. We have to eat and we have to wash the dishes.
Yeah.
However, within this closed system, we possess the agency to drop the heavy, agonizing burdens of material ownership and societal ego. By embracing the magic light of shared information, building value through conceptual exchange rather than physical hoarding, and seeing our cosmic predicament as an elaborate dark joke, we can drastically reduce our friction.
Right. We're all reckless orderers without the ability to pay. But we can at least stop ordering more heavy luggage, tell the waiter there is despair in our soup, and start treating the magic light like a disco ball. It really is a profound lens through which to view our daily lives. By stepping outside the binary of winning and losing the societal game, and instead looking at the raw thermodynamic and psychological friction of just being, we open up an entirely new way to evaluate our choices.
It makes you look at your challenger tomorrow morning very differently, doesn't it? When you face your next major stressor, you have to ask yourself, are you genuinely solving a problem, or are you just polishing the brass on the mud boat?
Precisely. The societal templates for happiness require deep, systemic reevaluation. We may never definitively solve the initial physical failure of our existence. We're on the boat, and the boat is going down. But acknowledging that reality might be the exact thing that frees us to change how we navigate the dining room.
Exactly. The question isn't how to fix the unfixable machine. It's what we choose to do with the time we have left in this absurd, beautiful restaurant.